is viable, valid according to the Forest Rights Act. And the committee, by majority, 3-1, only one member dissented, came to this conclusion, and this was the conclusion. The POSCO project is an example of how a mirage of development can be used in an attempt to bypass the law. Such attempts, if allowed to succeed, will result in neither development nor environmental protection, but merely in profiteering. This will cause immeasurable harm to the nation and to the rule of law and justice in our society. Actually, 5 points need to be highlighted from that report. First is, the Odissa government and the central government, this is what the report of the committee says, have violated the Forest Rights Act and tried to grab forest land that belongs to the people. This is the second official committee that has reached this conclusion. Then, the project could cause environmental devastation, particularly in regard to water, air pollution, coastal damage, danger of industrial disasters in case of cyclones, etc., all of which was ignored by the government. POSCO suppressed facts and tried to get around requirements of law. The environmental, forest and coastal regulation clearances obtained by the project were all illegal and should all be revoked. The forest clearance can only be given subject to the recognition of rights and the consent of the Jairam Sabha under the Forest Rights Act,
which has from the very beginning, which has been against the opposition of the people. So then the second aspect that I would like to draw your attention to is that the memorandum has come to an end. There is no memorandum as of now between the state government and the POSCO authorities. Now, in the absence of memorandum, on what basis both the governments should be moving with regard to, say, land acquisition, with regard to other aspects. Therefore, what was open to the central government was they could have at least gone for an impartial inquiry into the papers which were being presented by the Tribunal Committee, and since they have not done so, and I feel, I mean, now the central government has even now it is not bothered to have that kind of image also, that I mean they will be working as impartial arbitrators. Now they have totally gone to the side of the state government and they want to have the project at any cost. And we are opposed to this particular concept that against the people's wishes, against the people's needs, you want to have projects at whatever cost. Cost is of no concern to you.
Development doesn't mean that 60 years this kind of cheating has been going on in Jharkhand and Odisha and Bihar. This cannot go on. This cannot go on, and all over the world the struggle is going on. And India, this is creating a sort of armed conflict situation. Secondly, the issue is what our friends have raised, that who will decide whether Odisha people want little or they want steel? Who will decide? From Delhi, we feel that steel is much better, they will have much better life. But we know all what happened to all the projects in Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh. Steel was there, the gas was there, but people get, local people don't get that. And according to our constitution, I will quote Article 21A, it is our people's right to decide about their lives, how they want to live in a unified world. Right to live with dignity is a constitutional fundamental right. No government has any power to decide what kind of life I want to live. We have sovereign rights for our communities, in the backward areas, backward zone. And it's not just that port of Jagat Singapore. They will extract minerals from different states. We don't have minerals in Jagat Singapore. It will down and it will get a serious problem. Already in Yamagiri, when learning that they are going to take this from other part of Odisha, where 30 years before there was a big struggle, in the month of 30 years before there was a big struggle, another struggle is going to come. So we must do the problem in a very different way. I would say that 60 years we have been learned, we have been forced to believe that the government of India wants our development. This is very questionable. You must try to look things in a different way.
Report presented today by Jairam Ramesh is nothing but a capitulation of corrupt forces both within India and abroad. After all, POSCO, though a Korean company, is held largely by American corporations and no less than Warren Buffett holds 5% stake in this transnational corporation. For the single largest project of FDI investment in India, this is the single largest FDI project in India at 2005 prices, which is rupees 51,000 crores or US dollar 12 million capital cost. Analysis revealed that these investments can be recovered in less than a decade, given the pretense of a royalty that POSCO will pay for the iron ore extraction, which is rupees 30 per ton at the official ore valuation of rupees 300 per ton, compared to the commercial value of rupees 7,000 per ton. It is to make such unprecedented profits from the plunder of India's natural resources that POSCO demanded a coastal location for its super large capsized ships to be bought to cart away precious iron ore, which is why the captive port was envisaged. What India would be left with is a toxic residue of its dirty ore processing, while the refined ore, perhaps not even the finished steel, would be exported to Korea and elsewhere to add more value to POSCO's profits. This is not merely a flight of the nation's natural wealth, but also a massive planned political exercise for erosion of financial resources with questionable legal sanction. I think this is a very important point which needs to be brought into focus and should be debated.
So if there is a Gram Sabha which is saying something, or a POSCO Pratirod Sangram Samiti which is saying something, and the state government is saying something, the matter has to be verified. And that doesn't go by trust, that goes by evidence. So Mr. Ramesh is completely misconceived in thinking that he can act on the basis of some notion of trust. Governments don't run. Mr. Ramesh cannot run his ministry for even one day on trust. Everything is on paper. So where is this question of trust that he is bringing in? This is a very completely false and a malicious point he is making. It shows his malafide. He wouldn't talk of trust if he was actually acting bona fide. So then he would say, look, here is the evidence. On the basis of this evidence, I am taking this decision. This is my reasoned conclusion. People invoke trust only when they have something to hide, and he has clearly something to hide here. The Gram Sabha resolutions are valid. There is no question of quorum. And the copies of the resolution, they talk about 64. You will see in the package that you have that there is one village 64 people signature and the other village 69 people signature. It's completely misconceived. More than 2,000 people have signed in each village, and all the 2,000 signatures are there with both the state government and the Ministry of Environment and Forest. But what they are doing is they are taking the first page and leaving all the other pages. You can't have 2,000 signatures on one page. So the remaining pages are being just ignored as if they don't exist.
In Odisha, this conflict and struggle is going on because it started from Kashipur, then Kalinganagar. People have lost their lives in all these projects, and this is the latest one we are dealing with. Same is the situation in Jharkhand, where as per Mittal is after the life of Jharkhand government to get land, he is not succeeding to get land. There the problem is going on. Jaitapur in Maharashtra, all over India, is land grab by corporations is going on. And I feel it is high time that we should put all these issues together and raise the question on Government of India development policy and orientation, and force them to come on the discussion and negotiation table. This is also related sometimes, you know, if you read newspaper reports, you get a feeling how the government are getting run today. Because all these decisions are taken based on the requirement of diplomacy and not by the Constitution of India. The Korean president was their guest on 26 January. All state government and central government was after the life of the people that it gets settled before that. It has not got settled before that. That's how 31st January notification comes in. France president comes to India, Sarkozy. Before his visit, this nuclear power corporation of India decides that Jaitapur project reactor supply will be given to French company. no bidding, nothing. I read every day and the televisions are full of debates on bidding process and 2G, this has happened, ISRO has given it without a proper bidding process. How nuclear power corporations of India, which bidding process they have followed, which other companies they have considered, no one knows in this country. But project is given to them, government is adamant, a special person from PMO has been sent to Maharashtra as Chief Minister just to get his Sarkozy's promise implemented.
Has come through and Odissa government has been sitting completely ready to implement it. And you can't, it can be just any imagination, any event, wild imagination, wildest of your imagination also, you can think what will happen on the ground if you leave the ground. Second reason for them not coming here is they don't want to leave the area right now, when they are needed the most. Third reason that they gave us for not coming is, they said, you all have been providing solidarity to our struggle for the last 5.5 years. And it is your responsibility to also speak up, speak against this clearance. And it is up to you all to organize whatever you want. We will be with you whenever we can, but it is not necessary for us to be there. They are organizing protest meetings, they are organizing protest, press conferences in Odisha. So every time they don't have to come here for a solidarity effort. And Odisha government has done the central ministry has believed what the government has been saying or has been lying, then we also expect the ministry and the central government to listen to people's voices that they have been resisting for the last 6 years.